All right, let's start with the big story that we are tracking this morning, where US President Donald Trump will be delivering his remarks about his decision on whether to move the US Embassy in Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. The White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders has told reporters that President Trump is pretty solid in his thinking over the issue.
The president, I would say, is pretty solid in his thinking at this point.
You know, I'm not going to get ahead of the president on any of this. I know a lot of you have questions about the status there. I don't want to speculate on what the president's announcement will be and don't want to get ahead of the president. The issue rests with the president. The president will address all of this when he is ready. I can tell you that some calls have certainly occurred, as you well know, between the U.S. government, including Secretary Tillerson, including the president and also the vice president, but I'm just not going to be able to characterize what has come out of those conversations. I know that's not very satisfactory, but I'm just not going to go there.
Meanwhile, Hamas chief Ismail Haniyeh and Saudi Arabia's King Salman have warned Donald Trump against moving the U.S. Embassy in Israel to Jerusalem. On Tuesday, President Donald Trump had spoken to his Palestinian counterpart, and according to the Palestinian media, he had made his intentions pretty clear about moving the U.S. Embassy in Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. And Trump has also reportedly spoken to the Jordanian King Abdullah and Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu. The Jordanian King has also confirmed Trump's intentions of moving the embassy, and the Palestinian factions have announced 3 days of rage in protest of Trump's move. Now, the U.S. recognizing Jerusalem as Israel's capital or relocating its embassy in Israel to Jerusalem may translate into the end of America's role as the main interlocutor in the peace process between Israel and the Palestinians. Now, it was during his campaign for the American presidency that Donald Trump had promised to relocate the American embassy in Israel to Jerusalem. But even speculation of such a move is being faced with stiff opposition. For instance, Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has said that if America goes through with the shift, then Turkey may break diplomatic ties with Israel. And also French President Emmanuel Macron has also expressed concerns. He has said that the question of Jerusalem's status has to be dealt with within the framework of the peace process and the peace negotiations between the Israelis and the Palestinians. Meanwhile, the EU's diplomatic chief, EU's Mogherini, has said that the status of Jerusalem must be resolved through negotiations and not through unilateral declarations like what Donald Trump has sought to do.
Must be found through negotiations to resolve the status of Jerusalem as the future capital of both states, so that the aspiration of both parties can be fulfilled.